are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have none other than Daniel Martinez. This is a repeat guest. We don't often have these, but I'm super excited because it's always good to see familiar faces. And we were having a laugh because we both got on the podcast before this. I was like, wait, I've seen this background. It's a testament to why branding works because Daniel's background stuck in my mind. So Daniel is the founder of HiveMind CRM platform. We talked about this. We're gonna change up our topics this time, but I'm still super excited. Daniel, thanks for coming back on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Like I said, I kind of feel bad because I don't remember, but man, go check out the other episode. I think it was episode 268. But we're gonna talk about something different today, and I have a plethora of topics we can talk about, so I'm excited about this one.
There you go. There you go. The beauty of real estate is there are so many topics to delve into. There's not just one. So
100%.
we're gonna jump around. We're gonna start with some land, but before we do that, as always, we start with stories. I know you've already been on here and shared, but I just go back through how you got into real estate and how it got you to where you are today.
Sure, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna more dedicate this one to the real estate side specifically. I started entrepreneurship when I was 25. I had my CDL, so I actually started a trucking company. So I'm like, let's start use something I already have and go down that path. Started a trucking company, ended up getting up to 5 trucks. We did like $550,000 in revenue in 2 years. That didn't really work out in my favor, so I pivoted into real estate at that time. I was transitioning into real estate. My first deal was a vacant lot in Florida. Never seen it to this day. I made about $6,000. That's kind of how I ended up in the land space, and I've kind of been doing land ever since then. Land is my niche. I love it, and it's been life changing for me. I think it's a lot less competition. I always talk about this because I like land because it doesn't cash flow. There's no tenants, and I don't have to do showings. People just go and see it.
I like it, man. I like it. I didn't realize you said you 550,000 in 2 years. You did with 5 trucks, and so
Yeah,
that's about 250,000 a year just with 5 trucks. I had no idea that renting out trucks could be so lucrative.
it's okay. So for everybody that wants to get into trucking, it can be lucrative, but the problem is there's so much regulation that everybody's in your pockets. So yes,
Mm,
I generated $550,000, but I also spent 650. So by the end of the 2 years, I lost $100,000.
wow, that's crazy. Regulations being like all the different licenses, like your CDL and all that stuff.
Licensing, tolls.
Oh, tolls, yeah.
I always equate this to that in trucking, the stars have to line for you to get paid. You have to have a driver. You have to have a driver that qualifies. You have to have a driver that passes drug screen. You have to get a load. You have to pick up that load and it's available. You have to drive that load. All the cars and traffic in between that load to when you deliver. When you deliver, they have to be there to unload you.
Gotcha.
There's just too many variables, and every single one of those has to align for you to get paid. And
Interesting.
there's like half I spent like over $200,000 in fuel. Like out
Wow.
of the 550, 200 of that went straight to diesel.
Jesus, and that
So
was
like
before the fuel cost of today, which is like $5 a gallon for that's unleaded. We're not talking about diesel there. So
there's too many high expenses that just dig into your profit margin, and then accidents, tolls, insurance. Like it was crazy.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That's funny. A family member of mine, he has a construction, like he's in recycling. He has a recycling business, and he started a trucking business on the side. I never really talked to him about it, but he ended that business, I think, like a year after he started it. And I was always curious why, because it seemed like he was done so well. But that's why. Too many costs. Makes sense. But another good reason to be in real estate, because there's still costs, but the upside is bigger, especially when it comes to land, because the operating expenses are virtually nil. You got your taxes, and honestly, that's the most I can think of off the top of my head is your taxes. So let's go into land. It's your niche. It's your passion when it comes to real estate. Why did you choose land in the first place?
I really didn't choose it, man. I kind of fell into it. I was trying to wholesale houses. I contracted like 3 or 4 houses. They all fell in for different reasons. Between credit card debt at the closing table, blew up my deal. I had a seller die the weekend before
Oh,
close.
geez.
I was gonna make like 30 grand on that one. That happened. Another one, I couldn't find a buyer. It was just, I had a lot thing after thing after thing that just happened when I was doing houses. I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. So me and my partner, me and my partner now, we kind of took the same wholesale course, and we're like, dude, let's try land. And he started doing land. And I'm like, I'll start doing land. Literally, my first contract I got so easy, smooth, seamless. I was very introverted, so I didn't really want to talk to the sellers, nothing.
Mhm.
So I literally did the whole deal through email. Never talked to the seller, never talked to the buyer, and I made $6,000. I'm like, okay, this is amazing.
There's something to this. I like it.
This
And
is
so you
amazing.
guys,
Uh,
predominantly wholesale? Do you buy and hold, anything like that?
So we do. Okay, so our strategy is crazy. So the reason why we like land, I kind of mentioned it earlier, is because it doesn't cash flow.
Hmm.
What we do is we make it cash flow. Well, how do you make it cash flow? Well, there's a lot of people that teach that do land to go get 10, 20 cents on the dollar contracts, which they're out there. Like, I'm not going to stop and deny that they're out there. So what you do is you make it cash flow. How do you make it cash flow? If you get like a 25% deal, let's say it's 10,000, you get it for 2,500, you can ask for that as a down payment and then the owner finance the rest and sell
Hmm.
it for what it's worth. So that's how we create cash flow with land. We kind of fell into our niche with larger properties because you can create larger spreads in cash flow. So now that's what our niche is. We try and a deal we did early on was it was like a $35,000 lot. Seller wanted 15, which is already at 50% of the dollar. We'll give you 8. We want it for a quarter. And he's like, no, no, no. Came back 90 days later. He agreed for 8. We sold it on marketplace in a week for 8 down, 500 a month for 5 years.
That's not bad. So
So
you,
that's creating cash flow like equivalent to a rental with land.
yeah.
So now
So
we
you're
just target
buying the
bigger
deal and
properties.
then seller financing it on the open market.
So
Gotcha.
that's our whole strategy. So last year we actually bought 107 acres. Same idea. We subdivided it into 10 lots. Seller financed it and cash purchases, and we ended up making 200K in cash, 200K in notes. We've done multiple deals over 6 figures. We just closed a deal last month that paid us 80 grand. Like all our deals are like higher end deals, just because we're making like huge spreads on these deals. So now we're targeting like 50 acres or more, $1 million deals. Like I'm literally working on a deal right now in Florida. It's 9 acres. Seller wants 325. It's worth 600. We're probably gonna make like 100, 150 on it.
Wow. So you mentioned one thing in there, subdividing. That is one, I've had a number of people on the podcast who dabble in land, and that's one of the things that it seems like there's quite the value add there to buy a land that is one contiguous parcel and then do the legwork, go in there, subdivide it, and sell them off individually. So when you do, I mean, it sounds like this is part of your tool belt there. What is this process? How much of a headache is it to get it subdivided? How do you actually go about doing this?
This show is sponsored by HiveMind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the HiveMind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings, and of course to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at hivemindcrm.io.
We go to milliondollarlandmastermind.com. We actually teach this. We have our own little education that we put out for specifically this and subdividing land. So for us, we're specifically in Texas only. The reason why we're in Texas only is because
There's a lot of land.
there's a lot of land, and they make it easy. Texas is they just make things easier for investors. So in Texas, as long as it's 10 acres or more, you can subdivide with an engineer and a survey. In other states and countries, you have to put in, not countries, but in other
Counties.
states, they might require county approval, and they might require all these different hoops you got to jump through. With literally in Texas, we get 50 acres. Okay, we're going to divide this into 5, 10-acre lots. Boom, 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 survey, engineer, cut them all up, take it to title, we close. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah, the biggest benefit about land, and this is why I love land. There's more land than houses. Think about that. So there's more opportunity. There's less people doing it, and you have the upside to seller finance it because banks won't lend on it. So you're providing a opportunity in the marketplace just by seller financing. Another thing is that especially with the 10 acres, we're selling to people that buy land. They're cash buyers. Think about this. Everybody that buys houses, 90% of them are going through FHA. They're burning it out. They're going to put 20% down. People that buy land, they're usually cash buyers because they're using it recreationally. So our big portion of our buyer pool already has cash on hand, because people that own land, it's like something add on. Like they're gonna make sure they have a house before they have land. You know,
Yep.
so it's like an added thing. So we're looking for a certain type of buyer, and everybody that's looking for land, they're a certain type of buyer that's looking for space.
Yeah, and even on the supply side, in terms of number of sellers out there, I've heard that a lot of the sellers you're, interacting with, they've had this land passed down to them. Houses, people, generally they're in them, they're using them. Even commercial
Yep.
real estate, it's not there's not as many motivated buyers, but a lot of times in the land space, and correct me if I'm wrong here, people will get 300 acres or whatnot passed down to them through their grandpa. They don't know what to do with it. They don't want to own it, and so they're motivated to get and just sell it and cash out.
They're not motivated at all. I mean, there's motivation. There's like subline motivation because there's always taxes. There's
Mm.
always taxes. So we use that as a negotiation tool. Sometimes we're like, hey, what if we pay the taxes for a year and lock this up for a contract? So like we always equate this like in houses, you got to move that deal in 30 days or less. In land, we lock it up for 90 days minimum. So you really have like a stretched out contract period to really line up the buyers, really bring all the pieces together before you even have to close. And then when you do close, you can bring in buyer funds just like you do in a wholesale transaction, but it's actually retail buyers. That's what I mentioned earlier. All of our buyers, we sell straight to retail. We go from wholesale to retail. So like that's how it makes huge spreads. So in the house space and all these other spaces, you can take two haircuts. You gotta build in your haircut to sell it to an investor, and then the investors have to make their profit. Like no, forget the investors. Like we're selling straight to retail, providing an opportunity in the marketplace to sell our properties directly to the retail market, which is why our spreads are so much bigger.
Makes sense. Quickly going back to subdividing, how small do you generally subdivide properties into? I know here in, I live in Tacoma, Washington, and lots can be as small as like 10,000 square feet. It's like really, really small lots. And so actually that's kind of small. It's probably bigger than that, but generally they can be pretty small, a quarter of an acre, something like that. Generally, what are you looking for when you're trying to subdivide the lots?
Generally, when we're looking to subdivide, we're looking for something 50 acres or more. And the reason why we're 50 acres or more is because we're looking for that 10 acre or more window. So let's say it's 60 acres, 65 acres. We can subdivide that into 11 acre lots or 10 and a half acre lots. And that's the parameter for Texas. So we don't put in any roads. We're not putting in any utilities. We're not doing none of that. We're just literally, it's really awesome because it's just like wholesale. You add paperwork to it and now it's more expensive.
Yeah. Yep, that makes sense. So another strategy that I've heard with land is, you buy it, you don't get any income from it until you sell it as a note or you sell it for cash or whatever. But some people are trying to cash flow their land by renting it out on the equivalent of Airbnb for camping. I don't know what it is. I can't remember what it is. Is that something you guys do? Is that a strategy that you've kind of looked into?
For us, generally, our exit strategy is cash or seller finance. We're flipping all these properties. We're not holding on to anything. If anything, we're building in like we're working a deal right now. We're trying to keep some acres on property. We've gotten some cows with property that we bought. Texas, you can get rights, mineral rights.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Mineral rights. So there's a whole strategy with that. Like every deal you do in Texas, just scrape the mineral rights. If it comes with it, just don't convey it when you sell.
Makes sense.
Keep mineral rights forever. Land is its own niche. There's all these different sub niches. I have clients that do infill lots in Florida, and then we do 50 acres or more. And there's like people that do entitlements where they'll come in and add paperwork to build multifamily on it, and then they'll sell that to a developer because they don't have to do any paperwork. So there's different sub niches in even triple net leases for commercial buildings. There's all these different like subsets of land, but like land is so vast, and I think it's, in my opinion, it is the easiest niche, and we're creating as much cash flow. Like for me, like everybody in the real estate game is like, oh, I want 100 doors or I want 1,000 doors. And like me, like if I can cash flow the same amount in land without having to manage it, I have the least risk.
Yeah, managing properties is definitely where the risk comes from. So I get the appeal, owning just land, not having to deal with any customers, any tenants, anything like that. So I get it. Makes sense to me. I am going to push this on. It looks like we have gone through our period. So it's time to jump into the quick question round.
That was quick. Okay. I'm
right.
ready. Yeah.
Let's rock and roll. It starts with books. I'm a big bookie, so give me 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom, one for real estate specific.
Oh man, $100 million offers. That was one I read this year. It was a great book. It kind of tells you how to formulate your offer. That's I guess the knowledge book. Real estate book, man. Everybody read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think kind of the gateway drug. And I wish I would say more. I'm not a bookie. I read both of those though. I have read both, so I'm not a bookie by no means, but I definitely read both of those. We're working on a book right now. We'll probably release it next year, but we're working on a book ourselves. So it's just providing different content to the marketplace in different forms.
Cool. I love it. $100 million offers. That's from the Alex guy, right?
Alex
Hermashi or whatever.
Yep.
There we go. Haven't picked it up myself, but I've heard good things. Moves us on to the next question. This is for your younger self. So let's go back to the Daniel who is just starting out that trucking business. Go to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
Don't quit, man. I think a lot of things that separates it from everybody else is consistency. There was a quote I literally heard yesterday. I'm going to turn it into a graphic, and I think it's going to be like my motto for our education. But it's like, I'm going to butcher it right now. Like I literally wrote it down. It's like, if you don't have knowledge, go learn. If you have knowledge, go start it. If you start it, be consistent with it. And if you're consistent with it, be patient.
Wow, that's a big one to ingest, but I like it. Good quote. And absolutely, consistency is one of the hardest things for anything that you want to accomplish, but it's definitely what separates the people who succeed and the people who don't succeed. It's not some special talent. It's because they did not give up. So I love that. Love that piece of advice. That moves us on to the next one. This is your Superman strength. All of us are gifted with strengths that we uniquely give this world. So what is your Superman strength?
I would say my Superman strength is I was laughing with this my partner too, because like there's like technological people that get really stuck into the weeds with technology, and there's people that don't know anything about it. I think I'm like right in the middle where I'm like, I understand it and I understand the power of it, but I'm not going to get lost in the weeds.
That's good. Yeah, technology, you can definitely over engineer, over technologize, or whatever that word is. To put too much technology, too much emphasis on technology, and when you do that, you just don't really see the full picture. So makes sense. Being right in the middle is the sweet spot. That moves us on to the next one. This is mentors. None of us are islands. We all stand on the shoulders of giants. So who is one mentor who's contributed significantly to your career?
This is such a great question. For me, it's been, you move on to mentors. And if you've been doing entrepreneurship for a long time, I had a mentor in trucking that he helped me when I was going through that issue. And then now I'm kind of helping him trying to go into the real estate space. So as I transitioned to real estate, there was another mentor that kind of come in, and then you kind of pass up mentors as you come in. And like, you don't have to meet these mentors either. They're just somebody you look up to. You might watch a lot of their education. You might consume their content, but like once you level up, not just like past them, but you kind of, people like provide like newbie content. Like I'm not a newbie anymore, so I need accelerated.
The show is sponsored by The List Guys. Do you need more leads in your local or virtual market? 1 in 10 small businesses don't invest in any kind of marketing. The List Guys have over 35 plus list types to choose from, and you can mix and match any list or criteria. We also use the skip trace list and provide up to 7 numbers and email addresses. Every list you purchase will be scrubbed against previous purchases. The List Guys are here to save you time. Contact the List Guys today at www.1listguys.com. That's www.1listguys.com.
Content beyond that. So you kind of like grow up your mentor ladder, even though you might never meet them. And it's kind of one of those things where like, and I've gone a lot through real estate. Like I've only been in real estate for 4 years, and I feel like the path I went down, I've accelerated my education in my own way, just because it was the path I went down. Where like people that might do houses and flips, they're stuck in that houses and flips sector. So it's kind of hard to get out of that mentality, because that might not be the best avenue to create the wealth you want and the lifestyle you want. So I think land is kind of gave me my beacon of light, and I don't think I need to do anything else.
Yeah. And I can definitely relate to, you have different mentors at different stages of your career. And each one, like, they're so important. I remember my first mentor, never met him. His name's Matt Theriault. I bought his course, and this was way back when. He's a flipper down in California, but it was the first course I bought. It really was the building blocks to where I am today. And since then I've met, I have mentors that I've done deals with. Have mentors who I've partnered with, and it's just every step of the way you'll find somebody who's a stage above you, and they'll help you get to that next rung of the ladder. So love that. And that moves us to the next question. This is the second to last question, and it's about the U.S. This is a good one for you because it's about land. There's a lot of square miles out there, a lot of opportunity. Give me one, usually I say metro, but just one area, one state that you're most excited about investing in today.
Texas. The reason why I say Texas is, and land in general. The reason why land is so amazing is because as populations expand, where do they expand to? They expand into the land. So if you're always one step ahead, you're always ahead of the curve. People always say like, "Oh, find the wave and ride it." The land space is always ever growing because populations grow in certain areas. So as populations move and shift to different parts of the country, you can always move to another state and do that as the wave and population grows in that one area. So there's always opportunity in the land space just to find that right wave and just stay ahead of it.
Yep.
Ride it.
Absolutely. And even when it comes to land, positive net migration, it's one of my key performance indicators when I'm looking for, not really key performance indicators, but one of my my criteria that I use when it comes to buying my properties, my commercial properties, self-storage, mobile home parks, industrial. But even in land, net migration, that's the one you guys got to look out for. All right, and that wraps it up. Brings us to the very last question. You've given us a lot of good advice, a lot of wisdom. I'm sure people want to reach out and get in contact with you. What's the best way to get in contact with you?
So we actually have a couple different ways. We're at HiveMind CRM literally everywhere. If it's a social media channel you probably touched or heard of, we're on it. I guarantee it. And then we actually provide a $1 course of how to make 6 figures on a land deal. You can actually text course COURSE to 210-972-1842, and literally $1. Go check it out. And the HiveMind CRM everywhere. We have our podcast. Hive with us podcast. Boom.
There you go. HiveMind CRM, and that's .io, correct?
HiveMindCRM.io. Yep.
.io. All right. I will put that in the show notes. So HiveMind CRM, if you want to reach out to Daniel and learn a little bit more about land investing, go ahead and click the little more in the description. It'll pull down the full description, and in there you can find Daniel's URL. Right on, Daniel. That wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Definitely look in the land space. Don't overlook it. You might regret it later.
There you go. For everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, reach out to me, gabe@therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, the only way we ask is that you give us a little thumbs up, a little like, a little review on Apple Podcasts. That's all we ask. Other than that, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started, or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the investors quick analysis calculator and offer tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investor's Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesaler's Template for quick assignment cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching this YouTube video. We hope you found value. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to watch more videos just like this one.